Greetings, HOBOTECH crew. This is day 8 here at the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous 2018. I'm here at camp, and I've had a few requests of doing a video tour of the van. So I figured, why not? Since I got it all cleaned up, I can go through some of the modifications and stuff I made. I'll try to make this quick. I know I can go on for like 45 minutes to an hour on these, because I actually did a complete front to back tour of the van before, and it was like 45 minutes long. So we're just going to go through the stuff that I changed. I'll try to make it quick. First of all, you guys already know that I have a ground deploy solar panel unit. I have 200 watts on the ground and another 200 watts up there on the roof, which you can probably see. I have a WeBoost 4GX OTR with the trucker antenna. This antenna is meant to go on the roof or on the mirror of a semi-truck. And what I did was I just put it on these pipes that I got at a hardware store. And I just used clamps to clamp it to my spare tire holder. And it's working great. And how I put it up is that I had these clamps that I undo, and then I just slide the pipe up and down. I just left enough slack in the line to pull it off, and it works great. I'll show you inside where the actual booster part is. For the cargo basket, this is kind of a customized job now, and you guys might not even know that I've added lights onto the back. When I have the bike on it, the lights on the back of the van get blocked. So here's what I use for this. I bought these on Amazon. They're basically meant for holding chairs or bikes. So I just added a couple of pipes, again with clamps, onto the cargo basket. And that allows me to fasten the bike onto the back of this. I do have a 12-inch extension coming from the hitch and then into this custom fabricated job. You guys can see my video on how I had this custom fabricated after I tweaked it in the wilderness. I went to Canaan, Utah, and had that fixed. These are my chair holders. Basically the same exact technology. In fact, this is where I got the idea for the bike holder. I just lock them up to the spare tire holder. One of the most interesting pieces of technology, and one of the things I get asked the most about, is the backup camera. This is a Dairy Cam 1080p HD night vision camera. So it works in day or night. It records 24 hours a day. But I could see 3 lanes of traffic behind me. Though it's awesome. I don't even need to take the reflectix off the back window. I could just drive around with the reflectix on, see perfectly fine. And at night, it's even better. At night, it really picks up cars coming up on you, and I can literally see them right up to my taillights. So it's great. Yeah, this porch light, I added this myself, and I've walked around and I saw other Roadtreks. I guess after this model year, they started adding porch lights, and I didn't even know that. I thought this was an original idea. But I added this on. I just drilled some holes in. You can watch the video how I did the install and wiring of this. If you have an older Roadtrek that does not have a light, a porch light, this is awesome. It does motion activation, or you can just turn it on. And it only uses, I think, about 10 watts of power while it's on, so it's not very much. It is very bright. You can see very far away with it. Okay, so for the part that everybody is interested in, how the heck did I get this computer in here? Well, this used to be a third seat, about as big as these seats. But there was a third seat here, and I just pulled the third seat out. I have an entire video on how I did this and did the fabrication to get this computer to fit in here. I added this table. This, by the way, is my new mini computer, that one I've been telling you about that I've been doing all my editing and everything on. This uses a fraction of the power in this big computer but it's actually faster than the big computer, because this computer is about 6 years old. And this is brand new. It's using the latest Kaby Lake i7 processor, if that means anything to you. So I have this set up now is I can actually put these speakers, they've got Velcro, right? I can Velcro them to the monitor. I usually just leave them set like that. I have a wireless keyboard with a touchpad, which controls the computer. Right now I have a little Star Trek Next Generation we were watching, so that's paused. This is where I keep my antenna. I had to take the front cover off of my computer to get it to fit in here. It just happens to be a perfect little storage space for my hotspot. So I put the antenna, my internal antenna from my Weeboost there, with my hotspot on top of it, and this actually turns my entire van into a giant hotspot. So I did get seat covers, seat cushions, all that's been added on. This is one of the most interesting additions that I've made. His name's Odin. He's the protector and navigator, and he sleeps most of the time. We're not doing anything. Yeah. You're becoming an old kitty. So how I have this set up now, I put a blanket up. I really like doing this because it blocks off the ugly dashboard steering wheel. So I just tuck it up into up into here. You can see it just fell down. But I have it all tucked up into there. This is another addition that I made. It's an internal light that runs off a 12 volt. Very handy. So this is where I just keep my jackets and hats. Store a bunch of electronic goodies and stuff here. Keys. But I added all this in. Where I keep my fan and extra batteries. Got my GMRS radio, which has been kind of neat here, listening to people chatter. I have a whole video on this as well. My refrigerator and freezer thermometers, this electronic thermometer that I have the receiver, or the transmitter I should say, the transmitter inside the freezer part of my propane fridge, right here. So my propane freezer back there is a thermometer. This is just my propane fridge, which runs all the time. It holds decent temperature usually, but I don't trust it for food except for the freezer part, because the refrigerator varies in temperature too much. So that's why I got, I'll show you here in a minute, my other refrigerator. This here is the pride and joy, of course. This keyboard comes out on this arm, and I'm not going to twist it up, but it turns up. I have the mouse and everything here, and I use this. I swing this in, obviously, and do my computer work from the passenger seat, and it doubles as an outside viewing screen. I have a second monitor. I rarely use it. In fact, I almost never use it, very once in a while. It's sort of a backup, but it's also it's just a different size monitor that I use for photo editing sometimes. And down here I keep all my little electronic goodies. I built this table, and what I added in are these. I have a 12 volt plug and 2 USB ports. And that digital display is actually powering a mini computer that's underneath here. The mini computer runs 24 hours a day. I'll show that to you. Okay, inside here, it's dusty, claustrophobic. There's the mini computer. That's plugged into 12 volt, runs all the time. It does file serving. I keep some hard drives here. This is where I have keep my TV shows and stuff on this. And then it just plugs into this computer up here. Actually, it plugs into the mini computer as well, and I can share my stuff over the entire network. That's basically how I have this set up. And back there, if you can see it, is my router. That's my Soho Mark III router. It actually tethers to my hotspot. So let me show you what I mean by that. So you see how right there I have a white cable connected to my hotspot. Well, that's a USB cable that runs down to my router. What that does is it takes the internet from my hotspot, sends it to the router. The router turns it into a Wi-Fi hotspot, which allows all my computers, devices, tablets, everything to get online. Not only does it allow it to get online, but it allows them to talk to each other. That's something you can't do with a hotspot. Usually if you have a hotspot device, those devices can get on the internet, but they can't talk to each other. So what I can do here, and one of the reasons why it's one of the reasons why I have this hard drive set up here. I can plug this hard drive in to the computer and share it across the entire network. I can stream videos to the back in bed. I can stream videos to the laptop outside. It just makes it extremely convenient to share your files that way. So that's why I went through the expense and complication of adding a router. Most people don't. Most people just do a hotspot and let their devices get online. I added this faucet. I took the original plastic junky faucet out and I added this nice American Standard. It's been a night and day difference. It saves a lot of water because I have much better control over the flow. I don't have to twist the knob 10 times to get water. I just like that and make everything wet. I have this as well. This is a Niagara Aerator, and what that does is you can turn it and it switches the flow from half a gallon per minute up to 1.5 gallons per minute. Also, I added this piece of wood to turn my window area into a shelf to hold soap and sponges and stuff like that. Again, that's a custom thing that I added. That's not factory. It's where I store my magnets, because I use magnets to hold things to the outside of the van as well as to hold my reflectix to the windows. Lots of use for magnets here. And you guys can see these lights changing color. I added that as well. I got these they're aluminum channels with a frosted white coating, and you put the cheap Chinese LED color changing strips in there, and I can see how I cut a hole to run the power. And in here, hopefully you can see that's the control box, and that little tiny thing right there is the infrared sensor, so it allows me to change turn it on and off, change the colors and stuff. Okay, so here's the shower head that I added on. It's an Auctionetics shower head. I got the plastic model and with the 7-foot hose. So this hose is great. It's very flexible, very heavy duty, really long, allows you to reach whatever you need to reach. It uses a lot of water, but let me tell you, it's just like taking a shower at a house. This is my laundry bag. I just keep my laundry on top of the toilet. It seemed like a great place for it. And then the toilet. You guys all know what a toilet looks like. I have a whole video on this shower curtain. How I got this shower curtain the size to get. How I mounted it to the rails. So you guys don't know about Roadtreks. This rail is where the shower curtain goes. So you actually take a shower in the aisle. And that might sound silly, but let me tell you, it's awesome because it's huge space, right? And instead of being in a crowded little shower, you have plenty. You can actually have 2 people in the shower. It's so roomy. And with the fan above, that's another thing I did. I did a modification. I replaced this entire fan shroud with the switches because they were kind of on their last leg. And I added this one with the reversing switch so you can actually blow the air in while you're taking a shower, and that will inflate the shower curtain around you so it doesn't stick to you. So the shower curtain comes out. It goes, you can just see how where I'm standing. It comes out and goes all the way around. And there is a drain in the floor. If you're probably wondering where the heck the water goes. Again, this is a Roadtrek thing. I think they have this patented. So there's the drain. You just take the plug out, and when you take a shower, I just lift this up. I just usually just roll this up, and yeah, it's a little bit dirty, but I just roll the carpet up about halfway, try to about there. Do my shower. Put the carpet back after the floor dries. That's another good reason to upgrade the fan with the reversing switch. Just put it on high and reverse. It will dry the floor in most places, unless it's very humid, it'll dry it very quickly. And then you can just put the carpet back in place and you're good to go. Here's one of my biggest upgrades, was adding this 12-volt Dometic Refrigerator. And you're probably asking why I added a refrigerator when I already have a refrigerator. Like I said before, this one doesn't stay cold enough to keep food good for a week. When I'm boondocking, I need a way to keep my food fresh. So I went out and got this Dometic. I think it's the CFX 35. And I got my food in here, got my beer. It's got a little dairy compartment. It works very, very well. I think I got it clocked. It takes 70 watts while it's running, but it only runs about half the time, so it's about 35 watts consistent power use. So yeah, it does take some power. It can be a problem if you're boondocking a long time on a cloudy day and you don't have a generator. But I'd have a generator, so that's a good thing. This is how I purify my water. This is called an Aquasana clean water machine. And the filter is good for like 320 gallons. And so I just get tap water anywhere I can. And then I filter the tap water and it comes out the best tasting water you've ever had. So very good investment. I think that was about $120 on Amazon. It does come with a filter. I have not changed the filter yet. I've had this for, been about 8 months, I guess. And it's been working great. This is where I keep Odin's cat food. I got clothes, I have a laptop. This is the TV I got in the back. This is a 12 volt, 22 inch, 1080p. I use it as a monitor, so I actually run, I have a laptop, or I take the mini computer from the front and bring it back here. I hook it up through HDMI, and the speakers in the TV are plenty fine back here. So it's one cable, it's power, and it's video audio, and I can play from the TV. In fact, I can show you that in a moment. But there we go. I'm running the laptop. I can just close the lid of the laptop to save power, and I just use my 12 volt TV as a big monitor. This is where I do most of my editing, guys. I do most of it back here. I don't use this laptop. It's way too slow, but that's why I built my mini computer for that. So you can see we got a friendly visitor here. He was kissing up to me for dinner. Huh? Are you kissing up to me for dinner? Yeah, you are. You little punk. You lick my elbow? He likes licking my elbow. He's weird. So I have another wireless keyboard and mouse back here. If you guys know anything about Roadtreks, you know this is not the factory bed. This is a 6-inch memory foam mattress I got it's a twin size that I got from Amazon. I added a 2-inch topper on top of it, so it's 8 inches of memory foam. Under the bed is Odin's little sleeping hole, storage and stuff. Got some tools and things down there. If you guys are wondering how I did the refrigerator slide, you can see I basically used dresser drawer slides. Yeah, I got them from Lowe's. They're 24 inch and they extend to 24 inch, so they are 48 inches long total. They can carry 100 pounds. So I just screwed them into the wood and connected them up using these L brackets, this angle iron, to the bottom of the refrigerator, which has 4 screw mounts in it. One of my most recent additions is electric hot water, so I can do hot water on propane or electric. I'll have to show you guys that. It's a modification I did to the hot water heater. To know the temperature of the hot water heater, this thermometer is on the wall, and I have the sensor going down to the hot water tank, and it allows me to see what the temperature of the hot water is right now. I added this Bluetooth stereo to my system, and it runs these speakers. Again, it's 12 volt, and I actually have it plugged below. So a lot of this stuff you're not going to be able to see because it's buried under these boxes. So in here, I actually there's my WeBoost Drive 4GX. That's the model in case you want to know. I actually have 2 cables coming in for 2 different antennas. I have an omnidirectional antenna, which is on right now, and I have a unidirectional antenna, which I put up if I'm in a very bad signal area. Behind it, you can barely see. You can kind of see back here, Windy Nation. That's my 1500 watt Windy Nation inverter, which is run by this switch right here. You see with the green light. Allows me to turn it off and on. This is an automated switch, an automatic relay they call it. What that does is when I run my generator, it will switch over that AC power to the outlets. And when I turn on the inverter, it'll switch the AC power from the inverter to power my outlets. So what most people do when they have an inverter is they just plug directly into it. I don't do that. I have mine hardwired to power my outlets. So I don't have to run any extension cables or any kind of cords or anything. This is way back here. I do have a hole cut over here for cooling. So it does stay cool, it's never overheated. I can run pretty much anything on it, including the air conditioner. For those of you asking, yes, I can run my AC and the microwave, but everything off of my inverter alone and batteries. I have 12 volt plugs here, a dual 12 volt plug. One of them is for the Wii Boost, the other one is for the stereo. This switch here allows me to switch between my 3 batteries. I have one 100 amp hour AGM battery back here behind this charger. I have 2 more 100 amp hour AGM batteries behind this piece of wood here. You can't see them, but that's why I installed this. This allows me to run the cables across the floor and not trip over them. It's actually, I've never tripped over it once, so I did a pretty good job of finding just the right size to fit the cables and putting it in just the right place, because there's a step here anyway. One of the other things I upgraded was the charger. I put a 4-stage Progressive Dynamics charger in to replace the single-stage charger that was in here from 1995. It's all electronic. It has a 4-stage control. You can push this little button and change between the modes. That's what that little green, blinking green LED is for, to tell you which mode it's in. I have a fully replaced 12 volt circuit board, fuse board. I've used pretty much every single channel on it, running extra wires for all the extra stuff that I've added to the van. I did a lot of rewiring in this, and again, you can go and see my videos on how I did this installation. But this charger here has been upgraded from, I think it was 27 amps to 55 amps. So 55 amps allows me to charge the 3 100 amp hour batteries in about 4 hours if I do it on generator time alone. But usually with solar, I can get away with 1 or 2 hours of generator time. In fact, if I get enough sun, sometimes I don't need to run the generator at all. One of my other favorite mods is this, replacing the horrible fluorescent light they had back here with this LED dual power or dual light. So I can do red or I can do white. And I use red at night when I'm back here editing and I don't want to blind myself. White is, a little bit better for the day or if you need to read or something like that. Very cool modification. I just wired it right into the existing 12 volt. Last but not least is the Trimetric 2030 RV battery controller. Now this actually gives you percentage charge, voltage, amps, gives you a real-time display of what you're using. For example, I'm currently using 108 watts of power. This is very, very useful in keeping your batteries properly maintained. I also have right here the MT50 solar controller. It tells you the current state of incoming power. It'll actually go down to the wattage level, and also can run a solar. It actually runs the solar controller, and so can this one if you have the Trimetric solar controller. I also added an additional switch over here for the Porch Light. So if you're curious about anything that I'm talking about in more detail, go back to my tech series videos. I have an entire playlist set up with like 50 videos of me doing the build of this van. Every single thing you see in here I go into exuberant detail. So I'm just trying to do a very quick overrun. And anything you find fascinating, you can go back and check my older videos on each one of these items. Hey, thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe, share, and like. And we'll see you guys next time. Say hi, Odin.